Do you know little feed wastage here and there can impact on your profit? This is always overlooked by some farmers. There were times in the past when I estimated the amount of feed I'm to use to raise a number of birds to maturity. At the end, I always ended up spending extra 1 to 1.5 bag by disposal. This eat into my profit somehow then. Do you know what? I discovered where the feed was getting wasted. In this video, I'll be showing you how to avoid this feed wastage while raising your broilers from DOT disposal and maximize your profit. Welcome to Farmbiz with Markay. In this channel, we show you how to maximize profit in farming through creativity. Before I discovered this area where my feed was getting wasted, now whenever I receive my DO chicks, after giving them water, because I do practice water before feed, giving them water for some minutes, I begin to spray feed on the brooder paper, spray feed on the carton, drop feed on the tray feeder, drop feed on the chicks flip top feeder. So they will eat a little from the ones on the carton or the brooder paper. They eat some from there, then pull on some of them. At the end, by the end of that day one, you discover how messy the whole thing is going to be. The whole brooder paper or the newspaper that I place on the floor. So the whole thing will be mixed with their poo, mixed with some water they might spray on the carton paper. At the end, those much feed that I sprayed on the carton will be wasted. So that's one point I discovered that my feed was getting wasted. So how did I resolve this? I resolved this by increasing the number of tray feeders that I use for my DO chicks from day one. Now, this number of tray feeders, ideally, one is supposed to take about 50 as I discovered from research. But what I do, I wasn't there when that research was carried out, and the pen where they carried out that research might not be the same with mine. What I do, I assume 25 chicks to 1 tray feeder. In some cases, I assume a lesser number to 1 tray feeder, so that they have more than enough, so that wherever they are in the pen, they are able to have access to feed. Remember, the aim of spraying that feed on the carton or on the brooder paper was to ensure that wherever the chicks are in the brooder, they have access to feed. In my own case, I ended up wasting a whole lot of feed, because by the end of that day 3 or day 4, I will end up packing the whole messed up brooder paper and then go and burn them alongside with the feed that got wasted as a result of mixing that feed with the poo. So I solved this by ensuring that I have more than enough chicks feeder in the brooder, that is tray feeder to be precise this time. Now, how do I use this to reduce the feed wastage? When I use that tray feeders, the chicks somehow will still pull on the tray feeder quite alright, yes. What I do, I feed in bits. I don't just dump feed there for them, go about my daily activities after like 6 hours, 12 hours, coming back to check on them. No. I give them what they can finish within 1 hour, 2 hours, little by little. When I come there, the pool they might have pulled on that tray feeder won't be much. So I remove that pool, add a little to the tray feeder. I remove the pool, add a little to the tray feeder. Now, one other method I discovered that they eat more on that tray feeder than that of the flip top feeder. So what I do, by day 2, I introduce the flip top feeders. By that day 2, their mouth can go into that flip top feeder very well to pick feed from that tray feeder. Though that flip top feeder doesn't lead to much wastage because they can't really pull inside. So some of these stubborn chicks, they still climb on top of this flip top feeder and still pull. Because at times I still get some poo inside the flip top feeder. But whether you have some poo there or is some wood shave or sawdust you find in there, you need to remove them, add a little to it. Feed in bit, very, very important. Now, that is what I have been doing. I make use of more than enough tray feeders by day 1. Then by day 2, I introduce the flip top feeder that you can see in here. They can't use this flip top feeder till the end of week 2. No, don't do that, because if you do, you will be wasting a whole lot of feed. This is from my experience, because the tray feeder is on the floor. They can spray much wood shale, sawdust on that feed. Remember, if sawdust mixes with this the feed that are on the tray feeder, the stress of coming to separate it is stressful. That's one. Now at the end, you might end up feeding feed mixed with sawdust to your chicks. That won't be good. That will lead to some level of wastage. So before week 1 ends, before day 7, preferably from day 5 to day 7, ensure you replace the tray feeder with some other medium size feeder like this tube feeder that you can see that you can see here. This is what I give them from that day 4, day 5. I give it to them. But knowing that some of the chicks might not still be able to eat from this medium size tube feeder, I also leave some tray feeder, remove some, leave very few. Then by the end, before week 1 ends, I remove the tray feeder totally and change to this medium size tube feeder. Now that in a way has helped me to reduce the amount of feed wastage in my farm. Now, this same medium size tube feeder will not be good for you to raise your bestie disposal. It's not that you cannot use it. If you use it, they will waste your feed for you, because as they grow, they will tumble this tube feeder for you. Before you know it, your feed will be wasted. Remember, the way they design this tube feeder, design most chick feeder, it's designed to like put more feed in there so that they will eat until everything in the feeder is exhausted. I don't always adhere to that. What I do, remember, we feed in bit in this farm. That has helped me to gain to get that maximum weight from my birds. Feeding in bit, not feed, practicing dump feeding. Give them what they can finish within 1-2 hours. That is for the first 1-2 weeks. Then by the time they move into week 3, I give them what they can finish within 4 hours. In that case, I'm to feed them 3 times daily. By that week 3, week 4. So though by that week 4, we've started experiencing some level of heat stress, we'll begin to remove feed from the floor so that we don't lose our birds to heat stress. Then you now need to move to a bigger feeder. From that medium sized tube feeder to this bigger, either the rectangular feeder or this bigger tube feeder that you can see here. Now, some of this rectangular feeder I made myself. As I didn't make a video of it, but I'll be making a video maybe in about a few days from now, a few weeks from now, showing you how to make this feeder, this rectangular feeder, that you can use for your broilers or for your birds, because it's been here for like some years now. They are still very, very useful. I made them from some scrap left around in my compound, and they've been helpful in helping me to raise my birds. Now you change to this other bigger feeder. As at when do you change, preferably by the end of early week 3. You don't need to wait until week 3 is finished before changing to this bigger feeder. By early week or towards the ending of week 2, change to this bigger feeder. This is the bigger feeder that you will now use to raise your bestie disposal. Now, another thing I also do, if I leave this bigger feeder on the floor like this, just on top of the sawdust like this, they will spray much sawdust on this feeder as they grow. They will spray much sawdust, and that will lead to some level of feed wastage. In that case, what I do, I introduce some this rope feeder adjuster that I made myself. I use it to lift the feeder off the floor a bit to the level that they will still be able to pick feed from this bigger feeder. In that case, even if they spray some sawdust, it won't get into the feeder much. It won't get into the feeder much, and they cannot pull into the feeder, because as soon as they perch on that on this wood crossing the feeder, by the time it danks, they won't be stable, relaxing there. Before you know it, they will jump down. This is how I've been managing the feeders so that they don't waste my feed for me. In all, changing to another form of feeder as at when due, you must ensure you feed in bit. This has helped me to manage my feed well. Just like the last batch I raised, I raised about 150. I estimated about 20 bags of feed to raise that 100 birds till the end of week 5, which is the normal time we normally dispose our birds. But that we actually made use of that number, about 19 bags and that we used to raise those 150 birds till disposal. And that means we did not waste any form of feed. By practicing this feeding in bit, managing your feeders, changing from tray feeders to other form of feeders at when due is very, very important. This has helped us greatly to manage our feed. And do you know what? This same method of feeding has helped us to helps our bird to gain more weight within the shortest time. Because if you don't feed your bird, that is, you just pack feed there for them to eat, by the time they eat small, they will rest. They'll eat small. Before you know it's like, this feed is been long now. Imagine leaving feed inside this tube feeder for like days. Before you know it, some mold might be growing from there. Don't do that. Feed in bit. Give them what they can finish within 2 hours, 3 hours. Then before you know it, just observe this thing I want to tell you. Whenever you are feeding your birds, especially if the feeder is empty, just observe something. By the time they hear that sound of feed dropping to the feeder, they will rush down and come and be eating. Now imagine doing this up to like 6 times a day. You drop a little, you observe them after like 2 hours, you come back again, drop a little, after about 2-3 hours, come again, drop a little. Before you know it, they will be eating and they'll be converting that feed for you to weight. Now we feed 247. In order to gain that maximum weight, we feed 24 hours a day ad libitum feeding. That's what we practice here. So going through this method that I've analyzed so far, this has helped me to reduce my feed wastage. This time, the number of bags I estimate to raise my best, that's what I normally use to raise my best disposal. Does this mean, okay, because I want to stick to the amount of bags I estimated to raise my best, I should be economizing feed for them? No, I don't have to do that. So by the time I feed them a bit, giving them a bit, before you know it, by that day 35, I need to dispose my best. I discovered that is the exact number of bags that I estimated is what I used. No feed wastage. Just a quick one. Now, one of the things we do in this channel is this. When you comment or ask a question in the comment section below, when we have a look at it and discover that, okay, answering that question with text, responding by text, will not really give you a detailed understanding of the answer. What we do, we take that question, make a video with it, post it so that you have a better understanding of the whole thing. I've been doing it for some of my followers if you've been following my video. So this is what we do. If you find this video helpful, kindly do well to hit the subscribe button, turn on the notification icon, like, comment and share, as this will help us to grow our channel and reach a larger audience. Once again, thank you so very much.